Grandma told us that a dead Indian was the only good Indian. That was because Indians would come right into their houses of the early settlers' homes and take whatever they want and then would leave. So she got older. Oh, as she got older, she bought a small trailer home and lived in it on her son Ernest's backyard. When I was 15, I went and stayed with her for a week. I liked her dishes. They were blue willow. She told me when she was done with them that they were mine. She asked me if there was anything that I wanted, and I told her I would like a camera. So we walked downtown, and she bought me a Brownie camera and paid $12.50 for it. I still have it in its box with a price tag. I keep it in the stand next to my bed. Grandma passed away, and I have her blue willow dishes. I never thought at the time when she said, when I'm done with them, she meant when she had died.
Yeah, you just
You know,
thought, well,
yeah, yeah,
she bought another set or something.
When she
Yeah.
washes them off, you could have them.
yeah. So anyway, so then I got her blue willow dishes. And then comes my granddaughter, Anna, who was named after my grandmother. And I gave Anna those dishes on her wedding shower. And this is the letter I wrote to Anna. I say, Dear Anna, this is a picture of me when I was 15 years old. It was taken in 1951. I am with my grandmother, Anna Ackerman Whitney. She is my mother's mother. She would be your great-great-grandmother. I went and stayed with my grandmother the summer of 1951. I told her that I liked her dishes, and she said when she was done with them that they were mine. When Grandma passed away, the dishes became mine. Since you have my grandmother's name, I pass them on to you. I hope you use them often. My father, William Vern Fisher, was born on May 1st, 1908, to Clara May and William Fisher. They lived on a farm in Stanton, Michigan. He was their firstborn child. When my father was a young boy, he rode a horse to school and tied the horse to a tree during the school hours. One day, coming home from school, he came upon a skunk, and the skunk sprayed him. When he arrived home, his mother didn't let him in the house. She took all his clothes off and buried them in the ground. She put him in a tub and washed him with tomato juice. He said he still smelled after all this. My father liked to know how things worked. His mother had just got a new washing machine, so one day his parents took the horse and buggy into town and left him at home. He began to wonder how this washing machine worked, so he began to take it apart. He took it all apart and was starting to put it back together again when he seen from the kitchen windows his parents were coming back from across the field. He had to work fast to get it back together before his parents arrived home. As luck had it, he finished in time, and when his mother used the washing machine for the first time, it worked. My dad could then feel great relief. He never told his parents what he did to the washing machine. When he was a teenager, he and some of his friends went swimming on a summer day in a pond that was green. Soon after my dad became ill, he had typhoid fever. He had such a high fever that he lost his hair on top of his head. When school started the next fall, my father did not return to school. He married Harriet, and they had two sons, Donald born in 1928 and Kenneth, born in 1929. They divorced. He then married Macy Whitney on July 30th, 1934. He worked as a tool grinder for 34 years for the Gibson Refrigerator Company. He passed away on February 26, 1979. He died with a blood clot in his brain. My mother, Macy Winifred Whitney, was born October the 8th, 1914, in Remus, Michigan, to George and Anna Whitney. However, the doctor didn't file her birth certificate until October the 9th, 1914. So legally, she had to use this as her birth date. She always said she could celebrate 2 times. She had 2 older brothers, Ernest, a half-brother, and her brother Clifford. She was raised on a farm in Vestaburg, Michigan, where she rode her father's Clydesdale draft horses bareback. Her father became ill and passed away before she graduated from high school. The family lost the farm because they could no longer make the payments. It was so sad because the farm was almost paid for. And I was told that there was just one payment left on that farm and they lost it.
Whoa.
Yeah. Mother's mother moved into town in Belding with Clifford, but Mother stayed in the town with her brother Ernest and finished high school. She graduated the 2nd ranking highest in her class. Her father had a butcher shop downtown Vestaburg. And before they lost their farm, the brothers tried to keep the butcher shop going. They had sold some bad meat and lost their customers, and so the shop went down. Mom never cared for boys after that. And it was lucky all she had was girls. She married William Vern Fisher on July the 30th, 1935 in Greenville, Michigan. She raised her 2 stepsons and had 9 children. Fern, born in 1935, Doris in 1936, Helen in 1942, Clara in 1944, Marilyn 1945, Eleanor 1947. Louise Donna was born in 1946, and at 5 months she passed with pneumonia. She gave birth to stillborn twins, Grace and Jimmy, after Eleanor was born. Helen passed away at the age of 21 after giving birth to her 2nd child. She died of lung cancer. She passed away on February 19, 1999, of a heart attack, 20 years after her husband. That doesn't make sense. 20 years after her husband.
Passed away.
Yeah. And here's a copy of my birth certificate.
Oh, no way.
Yep. I was born January the 19th, 1936, the 2nd daughter of Macy and William Fisher. My grandpa Hogel gave me my name, Doris Ann Fisher. My father had an uncle back in the family whose wife's name was Doris. My sister Fern was just short of 1 week being 1 year older than I. I was born at home in Michigan. My father had to shovel the snow out of the driveway so he could get his car out. He had to go and get the doctor and bring him back to our house. As luck had it, I didn't arrive until after my father got back with the doctor. My grandparents lived a short ways from us. Grandpa had a cow. This cow supplied me with milk. When I was 1 year old, I had whooping cough and then pneumonia. That winter, I lived in my crib as it was too cold for me to be on the floor. We didn't have forced air heating. as we have today. We didn't have strollers then, so my mother carried Fern and my dad carried me. I was heavier than Fern. Mom said I was dead weight. When I was 2 years old, my parents bought a farmhouse on 100 acres of land. It was in Belden, Michigan. I remember driving to our new home. Dad's car was packed full. Mom and Dad up in the front seat, and I in the back seat was my two half-brothers holding Fern, and my uncle Ernie was holding me. I went to kindergarten and first grade at a one-room schoolhouse named Forest Grove School. It was on the edge of a woods. It was a whole bunch of trees. I had to walk up a dirt road to the corner and down the main highway to school. We could see the school from our house. It was less than a mile away. Our house was the only house on our country road. The name of the road was Bricker Road. When I got to second grade, our little country school had too many students. So my two brothers, Fern and I, were sent 2 miles away to another school, the other way down the highway. We had to walk to and from school. That winter, I earned my nickname, Slowpoke. My sister could keep up with my brothers, but I couldn't. They kept turning around and saying, "Hurry up, Slowpoke." And that's why it was, in the snow, you'd take a step and you'd sink down to your knees, and you take another step, you sink that one down to your knees. So there was a lot of snow. So I got called Slowpoke. In the spring, one day, Fern and I were walking from school. This is when we're in the school that's 2 miles away. We seen some pretty daffodils growing in a farmer's yard. We knew our mother hadn't been feeling well, so we picked a bouquet of daffodils from there. Mom loved the flowers, but we learned a lesson. Mom said we had stolen the flowers, and we were never to pick someone's flowers without asking if we could pick them first. Fern and I walked home from school alone as we got out before our brothers. I remember we used to hurry past the cows that were fenced right up to where we had to walk. And the cows would always be lined along the fence, it seemed like. In second grade, I began to stutter. I remember my teacher working many hours with me. We carried our lunch to school in a metal box with handles. I always banged it on my legs. To keep warm in the winter, I had to wear long-legged underwear with long cotton stockings over them. These stockings had seams across the toes, and they hurt my toes. So I had a hard time getting my shoes on so my feet didn't hurt. I remember kicking my shoes across the room. And Mom said, "This won't help you get your shoes on." We had to wear snow pants, winter coats, hats, mittens, and boots. No wonder I became a slowpoke. After going to Cook's Corner School, that was the school that was two miles away, for 1 year, our parents had our land set over to the other district so that we could go back to Forest Grove School. My brothers used to tease me, and so I began to kick them in the ankles. They grew tired of this, and they would catch my foot, and I would fall flat on my fanny. I soon learned not to do this. Third grade was a good year. We have a new girl in school. She is in the second grade, and we become the best of good friends. Her name is Sharon Vandisher. We were pals during school hour. We went to Sunday school together and we spent